Hey beautiful souls, David Essery here. In this video today we're going to be talking about the violet flame. What is the violet flame? What are the facets of a violet flame? What even is a facet? And more specifically, how can you use the violet flame to help transform your life? Let's dive straight into it, shall we? So, the violet flame is maybe something that you work with absolutely every day of your life, maybe something you've heard of but are not quite sure about. But really, the violet flame is one of the most important energies that we have available to us. And when I say energies, think of it as a universal energy. It's something that just exists within the world, within the universe, however what you want to call it. And it's an incredibly high frequency vibration that essentially we can invoke. And its primary goal is to transmute something. So basically to alchemize, to change something from one state to another. And more specifically, to transform a lower vibration into a much higher vibration. And it is unbelievably good at doing so. Now, the violet flame's been around for a long time. I know a lot of people say that it was given back to us in 1987 at the harmonic convergence. I've also seen a few other people say that they were aware of it before then and were working with it. I don't quite specifically know quite where it came from, quite when it came back, but I do know when it came back, it was coming back. This is a very, very old energy that's been around for an incredibly long time. And as with all high frequency energies like this, it is essentially a part of God. It is that transmuting power. Well, let's face it, everything is a part of God. I'm a part of God, you're a part of God, this table beneath me is a part of God. Everything is formed as a part of God. But the violet flame has an unbelievable ability to transmute energy. And so we can use it, I'll dive into this in a little bit more detail in a bit, but we can use it to clear our own energy, our own vibration. We can use it to clear the energy of others. Again, we'll talk about that in a minute. We can use it to clear a space, a building, a house. We can use it in as many ways as we can creatively think to use it. And that is where mastery really comes into play. It's about how we apply these things ourselves. And the violet flame could not be easier to work with. That is the most amazing thing about it. If you just call upon it, it will be there. So if I was literally to sit here right now and say, I invoke the violet flame to clear my chakras, there you go. I've invoked it, it's flowing within my energy fields already. As simple as that. Of course, I can go more specific, and if I wanted to, I could call that into my 15 sixth dimensional chakras, and I could go all right and start with the solar junction, the stellar gateway, soul star. I could work through them all. I could visualize it coming down and through and purifying as it does so, and that would only make the experience more powerful. But if you're out and about, if you're busy and you just want to clear your energy really quickly, it really is as simple as invoking the violet flame. Now, the reason why the violet flame is as good as it is, though, it comes down to something called the law of grace. Now, what the law of grace is essentially it's a universal law. So there are a set of fundamental universal laws which dictate how things work. Like the law of attraction, for instance, you may have heard of, where like things attract each other. So if you're thinking about something, you attract that thing to you, for instance. The law of grace is another of these universal laws. And essentially, you can take action and you ask for it to be done so under the law of grace. So for instance, if you wanted to send healing to another person that you haven't perhaps asked their permission for, you can send healing under the law of grace. And what that means is it's up to that individual as to whether they choose to accept it or not, either consciously themselves or through their higher self to accept it. Because, and I talked about this quite a bit in my last video, there's a really, really important thing to basically life as a human that we're all bound by, and that is free will. That means everything that we do is our own individual choice, and other people, including God, cannot manipulate that. The angels cannot manipulate that. It's just a fundamental rule that nobody breaks. You do not break free will. But say, for instance, that you have a friend who's going through a really, really hard time in their life, and you want to send some healing to try and help them go through it. The thing that we don't necessarily know is that that person could be going through these experiences for a reason, and actually the hardships that are going through will actually lead to the betterment of their life. But we don't know that because we can't see the outcome. And so actually for us to send them healing and ease their situation would impair their free will and potentially prevent them from receiving the benefits from this experience. And this is where the law of grace becomes powerful, because we can do something, we can send some healing or whatever under the law of grace. And that essentially means, as I said, it's up to their higher self to accept that energy or not in order to benefit them. If they don't want to, because the higher self understands that what they're going through is for their best. And therefore it can make that decision whether that individual should accept it or not. If we send the healing not under the law of grace, we actually can potentially alter their scenario, and therefore they won't gain the full gain from it. They won't gain the karma from it or release the karma for it. And it's actually possible that we can take on some of their karma. So it's a really tricky subject. If obviously we all want to help, right? And that's an amazing thing to do. To want to help people is fantastic, and we should do. That's how we're going to get better as a society, by helping each other. But we just have to be a little bit careful sometimes that we're not interfering with that person's life path as we do it. And of course, as I've said, this is why the law of grace is so powerful, because it leaves the choice up to their highest self. Coming back to the violet flame, what that means for that is that the violet flame always operates under the law of grace, which essentially means you can invoke the violet flame in any which way you possibly want to. You can send it to anyone you want to, any location, a building, offices, absolutely anything. You can send that energy, and you know that you will do no harm. It can only do good, and it will only be accepted as is right for all of the individuals in the situation. And that is a truly, truly powerful thing. So I mentioned the facets at the beginning of this. Lots of people, you may have heard this, talking about facets of the violet flame. Now, when the violet flame was given to us, it was given so at a particular frequency, a particular energy level. So, I mentioned before about harmonic convergence in 1987. We were still living within the third dimension in 1987. And so it was given to us at a vibration that was appropriate for us living in the third dimension. I believe probably the fifth was what it was given at. So it was still a very high frequency energy for those of us working with it, but it was still only fifth dimensional, which actually isn't that high by today's standards. Now, that means essentially, as we've gone through this ascension process and our vibration has risen massively, it's actually been important to give us access to the violet flame at a higher vibration so that it's more beneficial to us. If we are operating at the 5th or the 6th, we want to be working with energies that are at the 7th dimensional or higher to really gain the benefits from them. You know, what 5th dimensional people working with 5th dimensional vibrations, it doesn't have as much impact. We can do all of that ourselves because it's the same level as our vibration. And this is where the facets of the violet flame came in. Essentially, more versions of the violet flame were given to us, more powerful versions with extra things added into them in order to make them more powerful, to release them at a higher frequency so they would be more beneficial to us. And there's been a number of these facets, and I'm going to mention a few in this video. I'm not going to guarantee that these are the only facets of the violet flame, and I'm sure more will be coming through. I'm kind of expecting a higher frequency one to come through since we've really started stepping into the 6th dimension. But these are the ones that I hear get talked about a lot, the most common ones. And so I've actually done bits of artwork for a few of these, so I'm going to share some on the screen as we're doing this. So there was the original version of the violet flame, and then at some point in time, I couldn't tell you exactly where it was, we were given the cosmic diamond violet flame. So this was a facet of the violet flame. It's just a version of it. And essentially what happened at this point is Archangel Gabriel added his diamond energy, his diamond purity into the violet flame, and therefore created the cosmic diamond violet flame, which was merging of their energies. So the original violet flame was a combination of Archangel Zadkiel, Archangel Amethyst, and Saint Germain, who combined their energies to create the violet flame. Saint Germain had he's the man when it comes to the violet flame. He's like in charge of the process, and you'll see many teachings from Saint Germain on the subject. So the cosmic diamond violet flame included Gabriel's energy as well, his pure diamond purification energy, which massively raised the frequency of it. And we can work with the facets just like we do with the violet flame. Just like at the beginning I said I invoke the violet flame, instead I can invoke the cosmic diamond violet flame, and it will just kind of call in that specific version of it instead. And the next facet that was added was the lilac fire of source. I'm going to be completely 100% honest here. I've forgotten the other energy that was added to it at this point. It'll probably come back to me later. But the lilac fire of source had kind of a different vibe, a different feeling to it. The cosmic diamond violet flame was incredibly powerful and incredibly purifying. The lilac fire of source was still incredibly powerful, just as powerful, but at the same time really calming. There's just this really beautiful, soft energy to it that's really relaxing. And this is something I like to do. I like to invoke the lilac fire of source into my nervous system, both my physical and my energetic nervous systems, if it's feeling a bit riled up some days. And I really feel the effect of doing so. And that is simply as easy as saying, I invoke the lilac fire of source into my physical and energetic nervous systems. I may, if I want to, do that 3 times to make it more powerful. I may do some breathing exercises. I may really visualize that as it's happening. But at the simplest level, it is literally just saying that. That's how amazing the violet flame is. And I've actually done a piece of artwork for the lilac fire of source. I just thought I'd share with you on the screen here, just to feel a little bit of its energy. Let me just wish to watch that just for a moment. Let's invoke the lilac fire of source as we do into ourselves. I invoke the lilac fire of source to fill me physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Let's do that one more time. You can even repeat it out loud or in your head. I invoke the lilac fire of Source to fill every cell of my being, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And one last time. I invoke the lilac fire of Source to fill every cell of my being, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Just breathe that in. There we go. Such a beautiful energy. Of course, you can invoke more than one of these facets at the same time. If you want to call upon the cosmic diamond violet flame and the lilac fire of Source at the same time, you can absolutely do that. There's no limits to the way that you can use this. The next facet I want to mention is the golden rainbow fire. I'm just going to share this one on the screen now. The golden rainbow fire is particularly powerful because at this point lots and lots of ascended beings added their energy to the violet flame. Ascended masters, archangels, even some of the benevolent extraterrestrial races added their energy to this, and it's just the most beautiful cooking pot of incredible vibrations, and that's why it's called the golden rainbow fire, because of that rainbow, all of the different facets, all of the different colors of those energies that were added to it. And this is so beautifully powerful, again in a different way. They all follow a similar flavor, but just with a little bit different spicing, if you will, to them. Let's just repeat this again, shall we, as we look upon this and just feel the difference in its vibration. I invoke the golden rainbow fire to cleanse every cell of my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual being. Take a deep breath. Once again, I invoke the golden rainbow fire to cleanse and purify every cell of my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual being. And one last time, I invoke the golden rainbow fire to fill every cell of my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual being. Just feel its energy, just feel it purifying you. And there we go. How does that feel? How does that compare to the lilac fire of Source? I feel a bit more energized by it personally. I felt really nice and relaxed from the lilac fire of Source. The last facet that I want to talk about is actually the one that came through to us, I want to say in 2024, possibly 2023. Time flies so quickly these days that it's hard to keep up. But this was actually channeled by Lavisa Althorn, and for a workshop that she was running with my friend Tim Wild. And this is the violet flame of the one true heart. And we're going to share this on the screen now. So this is the violet flame of the one true heart. And in this energy, it had beautiful universal angel Mary's vibration added to it. And when I first started working with this one, it felt very different to me to the others. The others have always felt like when I invoke them, they're a downpouring upon me. But this particular one, whenever I invoke it, it feels like it comes through me, like it activates through my heart and spreads out. And I really love that about this, because I feel like when I'm working with it, it's joining with me, with my vibration, with my heart energy, and it's spreading that out with it. And it feels more like with the older ones, perhaps if we're doing service work in particular, you might be sending the energy somewhere else, and it just kind of feels like you're a director and you're sending the energy there, which is amazing, of course, and that's brilliant, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when I do it with the violet flame of the one true heart, it feels like it comes from me, it comes through me and out. And I don't know, for me personally, I feel like I'm somehow more kind of involved in that process, and I really love the energy of that. And it just has this beautiful, loving, powerful vibration to it. So let's just do this one more time now, as we did before. Just invoke this and see how it feels. I invoke the violet flame of the one true heart to cleanse and purify me physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Take a deep breath there. One more time. I invoke the violet flame of the one true heart to cleanse and purify every cell of me, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And one last time now. I invoke the violet flame of the one true heart to fill every cell of me, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Take a moment to check in and see how you feel after that. Perhaps you feel that heart expansion. Perhaps you feel something different. There is no right or wrong here. And there we go. That is the violet flame of the one true heart. So that's the main 4 facets of the violet flame that I personally work with, that I've got lots of experience with. Sometimes I call upon all 4 because they do have a slightly different vibration to them, and working with each one can have its benefits. Sometimes you might just want to use one in a particular situation though. Experiment with it. You may pick one that's your favourite and your go-to. There really is no rules to this. There's no right or wrong way. It's just go what feels right to you. You may notice as I was invoking those, as we were looking at the images, that I invoked them slightly different from time to time. And really, that just goes to show that it doesn't matter. I mentioned this in my video recently when I was talking about the spirituality being simple. You don't have to have an exact script that you run through every single time. It's about your intent is the most important thing. Not to diminish having, amazing invocations, and we may segue into one in a few minutes. But you don't have to, you don't have to memorize all of these different things. You can just call upon it, and hopefully you could still feel the benefits of doing that then. So I wanted to also just talk about some of the ways that the violet flame can help you, because it really can be completely transformational, just not just the energy around you, but for your whole life, because of course your life is a manifestation of your own thoughts, feelings, expectations of the world. So as you change your energy, you change the world around you. And the violet flame is so powerful to help you do this. So here we are, my top 5 tips for working with the violet flame. Number 1, of course, is personal clearing. We can use the violet flame to do any shadow work that we could possibly desire. If we have blocks to something, if we have a fear, even if we've got something going on in our physical body that feels some kind of discomfort or something, we can invoke the violet flame into us. And there's no limit to how much you can do this. You can do it 100 times a day if you want to. You just keep on doing it, and it has such a powerful effect on us. It's an amazing tool to really clear our density and raise our vibration. Top tip number 2 is invoking it into house clearing, for instance, into your home, into a building, anywhere that you might want to clear the energy. I used to, going back years and years and years, we used to regularly smudge and things like that to help clear out the house. I haven't done that in years. I just work with the violet flame because it has such an incredible ability to shift the energy, and very, very rapidly, because it operates at such a high frequency. And just as we did with ourselves, just like we called it in, I can invoke it into my home. I can call upon the violet flame to cleanse and purify every single atom of my home. I might take that a bit further to clear the structure, the foundation, the walls, the ceiling, the air, the water, the electricity, all of the furniture, absolutely anything that may be within it, that you can just invoke it into in order to clear. Next thing that I really like to use the violet flame for is clearing crystals. If you're anything like me, I've got a whole load of them behind me, then you love crystals. They are the most amazing tool in order to assist us to raise our vibration, and of course they're just absolutely beautiful to look at. But crystals take on energy, whether it's from us, from the environment, from other people. They take on energy. They're like sponges, and they soak it up, and they need regular cleansing to keep them at their highest vibration. In order to do that, the violet flame is the most amazing tool. Yes, there's loads of other options as well, but you can do the violet flame really quickly and easily. And of course, there's no time and space does not apply to the violet flame. So you could be out, 500 miles away, and you can cleanse your crystals that are at home. You can do that easily. And once again, I invoke what should we go for? The golden rainbow fire, Essery, to cleanse and purify every single atom of this crystal. Again, I can take that further if I want to, but it is that simple. Another thing that I like to do is to invoke the violet flame ahead of me. So if I know I'm going out for the day and I'm going to be around lots of people and there's going to be lots of energies and things like that, I can send the violet flame ahead of me. I can call upon it to clear the path ahead of my journey, like an hour ahead of my journey, so that I know that every single place that I step into, every building, every shop, wherever it is I'm going, the energy is going to be clear and at least fifth dimensional by the time that I get there. Again, it operates under the law of grace, so I can easily do that, even without a property that I don't own, with a property that other people are living in or working in or anything like that. I can use the violet flame. And it's as simple as that. I invoke the violet flame to travel 1 hour ahead of me throughout my day, cleansing and purifying every single location I visit. Your intent is a powerful thing. The last reason that I regularly invoke the violet flame is for service work, whatever that may be. Whether that's clearing on a planetary scale, I've quite often called in a downpouring of the violet flame to rain down on the entire planet, because yes, you can do that. or it could be that you're sending it to an individual that needs a bit of support. You may be driving through a town and the energy there feels really, really dense, so you could invoke it to clear the energy. Whatever it is, whether you're sending it to a people or a place or anything, the violet flame is so amazing for that, because it works under the law of grace. There's no limit to the amount that you can call in, and it's so unbelievably powerful. It really is just the most incredible tool. I believe it was Serapis Bey said to Tim Wilde, my friend, a few years back, that if we only had one tool to get through the ascension process, and it was the violet flame, then we would do it easily, because it is that powerful. So there you go. That's my top 5 tips on how I use the violet flame. If you've got your own ideas, things that you love to do, let us know in the comments down below. I always love to get a conversation going. I wanted to end things today, before we go, reading. I know I said about invocations and stuff, and I'm going to go back on that now, but I want to read a invocation from this absolutely beautiful book. This is The Violet Flame, God's Gift to Humanity, by Patricia Diane Cotter-Robles. I hope I've pronounced that correctly. And this was actually sent to us by a really beautiful lady who follows us here on the page. And it was such a lovely gift, and it's been treasured, and it's so beautiful. But there's this particular invocation in here which I think is really lovely, and I thought, why not just end on that today, if you feel like joining me. And this is, I don't know how old this is, if I'm honest, and it's not specifically targeted to a facet of the violet flame, but if in your mind you want to kind of call upon a particular one, as we do, absolutely can do so. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my artwork up on the screen again, and I'm just going to read this out. We'll take a few pauses as we go. Through the beloved presence of God, I am, now blazing in my heart. I invoke all of the legions of light throughout infinity, who are associated with the violet flame and the 12 solar aspects of deity. Blessed ones, as I invoke this divine light for myself, I simultaneously invoke it for my loved ones and all humanity. Blaze, blaze, blaze the full momentum of this sacred violet fire in, through and around every electron of precious life energy I have ever misqualified in any time frame or dimension, both known and unknown. Transmute these patterns of imperfection, cause, core effect, record and memory into God's limitless perfection. Just take a deep breath there. Just allow the incredible violet flame to do this work for you. Allowing it to clear any energies, anything that you put out into the universe of a low vibration. Just allow the violet flame to completely purify it. I am now blazing the various dimensional frequencies of the violet flame associated with the 12 solar aspects of deity through every thought, word, action or feeling I have ever expressed that reflects anything less than the immaculate concept of my full divine potential. Just allow the violet flame to cleanse anything less than perfection in every aspect of you throughout time and space. Beloved, I am, look into my life and see what yet remains to be balanced by me to any person place, condition, or thing I may have wronged at any time, in any way, for any reason whatsoever. Reach your great loving hands of light into all of the positively qualified energy I have released throughout my earthly sojourn, and draw forth 1,000 times as much perfection as I ever done wrong. Fashion from this substance of perfection a gift of love, whatever is necessary to balance every debt I have created, which still remains unpaid to any part of life. Take a deep breath. Allow this incredible energy to wash back through your life, enhancing the positive energy, purifying the negative, and balancing any karma. Beloved I am, I ask you to forgive every person, place, condition, or thing which may have wronged me in any way, and balance all debts owed to me by life everywhere. I accept this done through the power of God I am. And so it is. Just take a deep breath now. There we go. Absolutely beautiful and so powerful. Once again, that was page 40 from The Violet Flame by Patricia Diane Cotter-Robles. No affiliation, of course. I have no involvement in them whatsoever. It's a beautiful book and I wanted to share that. Thank you so much for watching today. I really hope you enjoyed that video. I really hope that was useful to you. The Violet Flame is such an incredible tool. Experiment with it, play with it, use it to transform your life and make it anew. If you enjoyed this video, please do like and subscribe. I share regular content like this, channeled messages, meditations, all sorts, and we'd absolutely love to have you as a part of our community. Thank you so much for watching and sending you so much love. Bye-bye.